Domestic violence is all around us. Every year, there's between 1 and 3 million reported cases of domestic violence abuse, but experts say there's many millions more that are left unreported, often because victims fear additional violence and retribution. Immigrants have the additional fear of facing deportation and losing their immigration status. October is National Domestic Violence Awareness Month, and for this month's Think Table issue, we've partnered with Ayuda, a leading NGO on fighting domestic violence. Domestic violence comes in many forms: physical, emotional, and financial. Nearly 20 people per minute are abused in the US, and even though victims include many LGBTQ persons and also men, 1 in 3 victims are women. Immigrant women are 3 times more likely to suffer from domestic abuse from an intimate partner.
Sometimes the signs of domestic violence have become normalized in a relationship, and not everyone understands that a partner has, instead of becoming supportive, has now become controlling.
Just sort of an example of someone who perhaps is not, physically abused, but is suffering emotional or, you said, financial abuse. So what does that look like?
So someone who is suffering from emotional domestic violence abuse rather than physical or also financial, though the signs of those cases can be a partner threatening to call ICE on their place of employment, to threaten to harm them if they're working under the table. This can also include showing up to your partner's job and following them from their job to the house to make sure that they're directly coming home rather than stopping anywhere else. Sometimes financial abuse can look like taking away access to credit cards. It could also look like taking away access to the immigrant's paperwork. So talking about passport or threatening to pull any petitions for immigration.
And, domestic abuse is an issue, obviously, a lot of people suffer from, but why is it particularly difficult for immigrants?
It's particularly difficult for immigrants that are suffering from domestic abuse because there are the added barriers that come from being an immigrant. Sometimes that can be the language barriers of being separated from others that speak your same language, from an abuser isolating you so that you don't have the opportunity to learn English. Immigrants also face the barriers of constant threats of deportation from their abusers. So the immigrant community, in addition to facing those language barriers, those isolation tactics, also faced access issues that other domestic violence survivors don't encounter.
I've been abused for quite a long time, almost a year, and it got to an extent where I was not in a position to stand, sit. I was literally crawling, or I was not given food. I was locked inside the house. The cops ended up coming home. They have seen the situation. They actually counseled me for a little bit. They said, I have to tell them what has happened so they can help me. Then I was like, no, my culture doesn't accept any of these things and I don't want to leave him. The cop, he explained, how I can protect myself and what kind of a support I can get. I reached out to the county. I was working with them and they said they would give me protection orders.
Domestic violence is a crime millions of Americans deal with every single day, and immigrants are particularly vulnerable due to their immigration status. For this National Domestic Violence Awareness Month, which is in October, we've partnered with Ayuda, a leading NGO on this issue, and we are bringing you materials to educate yourself on this issue, but also to engage and help victims of this crime. See you guys next month for a different issue.